Welcome back, old sports. Is a rose within the thorns, where we prune that confusion around English so your understanding grows as you read. Today we are looking at Chapter 2, and this is the chapter where many readers suddenly realize the novel is not nearly as glamorous as they expected. Last chapter we saw large homes, elegant dinners, and we were a participant in a polite conversation. Everything looked refined, even if it felt slightly uncomfortable underneath. This chapter removes the polish. So, first, let's clearly go through what actually happens. So, in our summary, Nick travels with Tom towards New York City, and on the way they pass a place called the Valley of Ashes. It is described as grey, dusty, and lifeless. Industrial waste covers the ground, and the buildings appear worn down. Above the area stands a large billboard showing the eyes of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg, their huge spectacles watching over the landscape. Tom suddenly insists that they stop, and he brings Nick to a garage owned by George Wilson, a quiet and exhausted mechanic who lives there with his wife Myrtle. We quickly learn that Myrtle is Tom's mistress, and Tom openly interacts with her while her husband remains unaware of what's happening. Myrtle agrees to leave with Tom and Nick, and they travel into New York City to an apartment that Tom keeps specifically for the affair. Inside the apartment, Myrtle's behavior changes. She dresses up, begins speaking confidently, and she hosts a small gathering. Several guests arrive, they drink heavily, conversations become messy and exaggerated, and the party atmosphere becomes chaotic rather than celebratory. As the night continues, Myrtle repeatedly says Daisy's name, and this crosses a line with Tom, and in response, Tom hits her and breaks her nose. The party does not truly end in shock. People continue talking and drinking, and eventually Nick leaves in a state of confusion and exhaustion. That's the chapter. It's nothing mysterious, there's no major plot twist just yet. But Fitzgerald is not using this chapter for plot. He's using it to show us a different part of the world that he has entered. So when we're reflecting on this chapter, the first thing to notice is the setting. In Chapter 1, we move between West Egg and East Egg, both wealthy places. In Chapter 2, we are taken to the Valley of Ashes, and Fitzgerald places it physically between the rich homes and the city. That placement matters. The valley is not separate from the wealthy world. It sits directly in the middle of the characters' daily travel. They pass it regularly. So Fitzgerald quietly suggests that the comfort of one group exists alongside the hardship of another. The two spaces are connected, even if these characters try to not think about it. And watching over this place are the eyes on the billboard. Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. They are not a character. They do not speak, they're just there to observe. Nick does not explain them, and the absence of explanation is so important. The characters live their lives beneath these eyes, yet behave as though no one is truly judging them. Now, let's notice Myrtle. When she's in the Valley of Ashes, she is described as restless and dissatisfied. The moment she enters the city apartment, her behavior shifts dramatically. Her voice becomes louder, her confidence is increased, and she begins acting as though she belongs to a different social class. Her financial situation has not changed, only her surroundings have. Fitzgerald here is showing us that environment influences identity. Myrtle is not just escaping a place, she's temporarily escaping a version of herself. Tom, however, never changes. In Chapter 1, his control was social and verbal. Here, it becomes physical. When Myrtle challenges the boundary he set by repeating Daisy's name, he instantly responds with violence. The response of the other guests matter as much as that action itself. The party continues. No one meaningfully intervenes. We again see a pattern from that previous chapter. People ignore disturbing behavior when confronting it would disrupt comfort or social order. The chapter also contrasts illusion and reality. The apartment party looks like a step into a higher world for Myrtle, but it's unstable. The conversations are exaggerated, the laughter is forced, and the evening ends in harm rather than joy. So instead of wealth creating happiness, Fitzgerald shows us that people are acting out versions of happiness. So, some of your reflections that I think are really important that you have as you continue reading. Why is the most neglected place located between the richest places? Why do you think Myrtle seems like a different person in a different setting? And why are the billboard eyes placed in a place where people feel forgotten? You don't need perfect answers just yet. Just begin noticing those patterns. Chapter 2 shows us that the novel is not only interested in the individuals, it's interested in the society that the individuals move through. Next episode, we will finally enter Gatsby's world properly. Not from across the water, but inside